Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
April Weaver, a state representative from Alabaster, was supposed to be at the Republican National Convention. She may not make it because she was hit by a car yesterday, or at least over the weekend. She was hit by a car, and very unfortunate for her. However, she was taken to the Shelby Baptist Medical Center with non-major injuries and released. She expressed gratitude for the quick response of emergency services personnel. It said it's uncertain if the incident will affect her attendance at the Republican National Convention. I'm going to guess she's there. I have not heard anything since then, but I would guess that is the case, because I don't think this is going to keep her from going there if she can. Again, could have been a lot worse. You got to watch where you're going, even at those crosswalks. A lot of people think that those crosswalks are force fields. They are not, because other human beings are in those cars. Watch out.
Number 6.
Auburn's men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl responded to the former President Donald Trump's assassination attempt in Pennsylvania on Saturday on social media, expressing relief for Trump's survival, which I think a lot of us felt, and criticizing political violence, which we all should have done. Pearl also condemned comparisons between Trump and Hitler in regular political discourse, including a recent magazine cover. And while Pearl did not mention it, the New York Times ran a story today about how Trump, quote, betrayed America. Yeah, that's right. How Trump betrayed America, because I guess we're not learning anything here. We're just got to continue down this path. It's the only thing our friends in the media and on the left understand, demonization of their political enemies, even when it makes absolutely no sense.
Number 5.
The attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump seems to have had some galvanizing effect on some Republicans. This includes Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador. She is now going to show up at the RNC, and she will be given a speaking spot. I don't know which one of them did not want to give that speech or want her to give that speech, but she has decided she is going to show up and give that speech, and that's good. That's good. And this is tied to the shooting, coalescing around Donald Trump. That's what's happening. Additionally, Twitter CEO Elon Musk announced he would be fully endorsing Donald Trump after saying he would not, and donated an undisclosed amount of money to a Trump super PAC. So we're seeing that happening as well.
Number 4.
Alabama United States Senator Katie Britt, a Republican out of Montgomery, will speak at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, alongside other GOP figures like Governor Ron DeSantis, United States Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, Tom Cotton, a Republican out of Arkansas, senators and potential vice presidential candidates Tim Scott out of South Carolina, J.D. Vance out of Ohio, and Marco Rubio out of Florida, who would be my pick, by the way. If you're going to ask me who you should put there, it should be either Marco Rubio or Nikki Haley. But nobody's asking me, so it will probably end up being J.D. Vance. The convention will hold over 50,000 attendees, including 2,500 delegates, to formally nominate the party's presidential and vice presidential candidates. It's under increased security that this will be happening after all that went down over this weekend.
Number 3.
The 20-year-old man who attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was kicked off his school's rifle team for being a bad shot, was noticed acting strangely before the attack at Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. Crooks, who had bomb-making materials in his car, was confronted by a local police officer who then backed that police officer down, and then the guy fired off 8 rounds. 8 rounds! Hitting Trump, killing a spectator, hitting Trump and then killing a spectator before being shot dead by Secret Service. His status as a registered Republican is confusing the media. Not really, they're just being disingenuous. The FBI is continuing to investigate the incident as a potential domestic terrorism event, which it obviously is, but they said they cannot declare a motive. Let me give it to you. Kill Donald Trump for political reasons.
Number 2.
The media and their Democrats are trying their best to both sides an assassination by victim blaming and even suggesting Trump's rhetoric caused this. Yep, we are literally blaming the shooter, or the victim here, excuse me. And it started right as we were still watching the president's face bleed. They suggested that it was he who was responsible for this. They even complained that he stood up and looked at the camera and said, "Fight, fight, fight," saying that that's going to lead to more political violence, which is insane. Just absolutely insane stuff. Headlines from CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and USA Today downplayed the violence, and they continued to question the response to it because they're all worried that a right-winger might act like a left-winger and try to kill somebody.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
America's most pathetic president of my lifetime, a complete loser, a lying son of a bitch, a terrible human being, and did I mention he's a prick in general? President Joe Biden could not get enough of the camera this weekend. Because for some reason he went out there 3 different times and said absolutely nothing of substance. Just a terrible guy. And last night when he spoke, you could tell. Old sundown time was coming. Old squinty, mumbly, rambly Joe was there reading off the teleprompter. Hell, he almost said, "Make America Great Again." Did you catch that? There's a moment there where he says, "We've got to make America, the thing." Go back and listen to it. We'll play it for you. Instead of pulling people together and saying, you know what? Maybe I've been a jerk. Maybe this is my fault. Maybe I shouldn't be pretending that my opponent is a fascist who wants to end America, who's an existential threat to democracy. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. Instead, he delivered us a lecture with no ownership of the words that he was involved in. He said we must not go down this road when he went down that road. Recently, Biden in the past had said that Trump was, quote, a threat to the nation, end quote. Also, quote, a threat to democracy, end quote. Also, quote, a threat to our freedom, end quote. Also, quote, a dictator, end quote. And that Trump would take power, quote, over Biden's dead body. Where I think what he actually said was, quote, over my dead body, end quote. Excuse me. But that's what he said. And now we're being told that, hey, maybe we should tamp down the rhetoric. You first, jerk off. All right? That's the correct response. You first. While you're out here lecturing Americans about the things you're doing. Go stand in front of a red background with Marines and tell us how MAGA Republicans want to hurt people. How they're a threat to America and democracy. It's unbelievable stuff here. Unbelievable. This segment of the program, of course, brought to you by my friends over there at 2 Men in a Truck. 2 Men in a Truck, Huntsville.com. That's the website. When you get ready to make your next move, let 2 Men in a Truck help you out today. 2 Men in a Truck. These guys are great. You'll get 2 Men in a Truck and so much more. They have what's known as the grandma rule, and that says this. Treat everyone the way you want your grandma to be treated. That's what you do. You treat your grandma with respect. They treat you with respect. They'll move your stuff, and you'll be very happy that they did. 2 Men in a Truck, Huntsville.com. Let them help you out today. They're going to do a great job for you. I promise you that. If you'd like to get involved, you can do just this right now. QC Connects, free speech phone lines, 866-494-WVNN. You can get your thoughts in about what happened this weekend. You can also get them in, as a lot of people are doing, on the ScoutPestControl.com WVNN hot take text line. You can get your thoughts in, your thoughts on the 7 things, or questions for 10 with him. That's coming up later today. And you can email us.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. All those different ways to get involved. Do it now. We'll be right back.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.